is something that is rampant now in the office environment. It's becoming the norm, eye service. And it's like, if you don't have that, I don't know whether it's a soft skill, if you don't have it, people that have that, I think it's working for them, they are getting promotion. And for me, as a Christian, it's not part of my values, and it's like, I'm struggling with it. Some people have been talking to me that, see, you need this thing, you really need to get ahead, you need to do this thing. I want to find out, for me, it's not a value for me, it's not part of my values, I want to find out, is this something you should have?
When you say eye service, what do they do exactly?
Okay, let me give an example. For myself, I like my work speaking for myself. I don't like showing off. But some people, that do eye service, they want you to see them. They want you to see whatever they are doing. They want you to know that, oh, I am here. I am doing this. When it's time for me to promote it, see me, promote me. For me, I don't know how to do all that. I feel you have the right, things are in place for you to get to know the people that are really doing the right thing. And some other persons, they go further, they go ahead to do more than that. Even when they are not hardworking, they try to show that they are hardworking. They are doing the right thing. So,
let's deal with that. First of all, when I say you have different opportunities to show up. When I say kill it, I mean give your best performance ever. You need to understand that work, once you step into the office, is showtime. It's business. When a comedian climbs the stage, I'm sure when he's climbing up, he'll be like, Holy Ghost, take charge, it's showtime, right? And he goes on stage and he gives an amazing performance, and all of us are laughing and falling on our, and then at the end of the day, the person that brought him is very happy and they pay him. Even give him a tip if we laughed very hard, right? That's what I mean by kill it. Whenever you have an opportunity to show up, whenever you are called to show up, give it your best performance. Don't go in there unprepared. Don't go in there to give shoddy work. Put your best foot forward. So that's what I mean by killing it. Now, to your question, we need to explain what eye service is. Now, if somebody is not working, and then the manager steps in and it starts to work, that's eye service. If somebody is always backbiting the organization, and then you go into a meeting, he sits down in front, anything they say, will be like, yes sir, very correct, I support you. That's eye service. That's not being congruent. When you are not congruent, when you do the positive side, it is eye service. Are we together? Yeah. Now, but when I do a job, I cannot wait for you to assume that the system will show you that I'm working. I will show you I'm working. And there's nothing wrong in that. There is nothing wrong in showing that I am working, as in these are my results. Now, you can do it in a way that is congruent to the person that you are. In that, I will not necessarily, example, when somebody comes in, just jump up because everybody's jumping up, right? But that person will know that I'm working. Because I can schedule later, I can schedule one-on-ones, I can send my reports. Do you understand? Where we lose it as a people is the fact that we don't share our work. If you're congruent, and that's why I kept saying, when Jesus was doing all his miracles, right? Truthfully, go and sit down. How many of them were in closed places? When Jesus was teaching the multitude, feeding the multitude, Jesus went up to the mountain. Jesus understood branding. He went up to the mountain and said, at that point, and started to teach. When he was teaching the Beatitudes, when he was teaching us how to pray, he was on the mountain. There were crowds of people. Now we can say for different reasons, maybe the crowd couldn't have entered the room. But he was very strategic from the beginning. Follow his story from the beginning. But where it is not eye service and it would work for you is where you are congruent. Because whether in the secret or in the open, you are doing the right thing. You are working. What you just tell yourself is, I need these people to know that I am working. Do you understand? Why do you pray and you ask God for help? Does God not know? Does he not know? He does. So why do you open your mouth and you ask him and you pray about those things? He should just, in that same he should just know. After all, he does know. Doesn't he? He knows. Before the thing has even hit you, he knows. But yet, he still calls us to a place where we talk and we discuss and you ask. He says, ask. I think it's even the NLT version also. Ask and keep asking. He knows. Say he knows our needs. So, the part of, and that's why I try to clarify the difference between the eye service and where we are failing. And we need to grow. They say every man, you need to sell yourself. When you went for the interview, didn't you sell yourself? They were asking you questions and you were giving examples. So something at a point to be like, what's your name again?
Ngozi.
Something might have told you, Ngozi, this man is not getting this answer well. No. So you give him another example, right? You sold yourself to get that job. Why wouldn't you sell yourself to move in that career? Do you understand? Yeah. So what you will not do is being incongruent. Is that English? Because I've been speaking different things today. It's how I got it. I got congruent, so I need to do the opposite. It sounds correct.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Okay, so there's also something called social skills. So you need to leverage on your social skills, which might include interacting with senior people. It doesn't mean you are doing eye service. It doesn't mean you are telling on other people. It just simply means you are what
You're selling yourself.
You're selling yourself. You're consistently selling yourself. You're doing the work and you are making sure it's right in their eyes. Yeah. So you are seeing maybe a visiting director from somewhere and you are going to talk to them. You are chatting to them. You are not talking about other people. You are not saying negative things about other people. Somebody is going to see you and say, that girl, she likes eye service. But it is not eye service. And you actually need it. See, when you work in a large organization, you work with a lot of smart people. Your smartness, your hard work will work for you when you're at a lower level. After some time, you've all been promoted 2-3 times. By the time you get to level 3, level 4, trust me, it's not how good you are. Because every other person on that level is good. So it's your emotional intelligence, it's your social skills. It's very important. People will go and have barbecue over the weekend. You will sit down in your house and say, no, I'm not doing eye service. That is where they will have those discussions. That is where deals are sealed. And then they announce somebody's promotion and you're wondering, but she doesn't have as many results as I have. But she has connected with the key people, the key decision makers. They can talk on another level, apart from work. And that's that's one of the key things on how you can get ahead.
So I remember that once when I was in paid employment, or even now with the people that work for me, the ones that I believe more are the ones that make themselves available to do things for me. So if you're trying to sell yourself to your manager, if your manager needs, and you're like 10 in a team, and he needs someone to take responsibility for something, and it's something you can do very well, I'm available to do this, and go ahead and do it. Because when you do it, and sometimes it's not even to your manager alone, even the company. So we need someone that will be able to MC, and you probably have MC skills. And so if you keep quiet about it because you're trying to hide from your manager, what happens at the end of the day is someone else won't know that you exist in the organization. And Tawani and Iphie can bear witness. There are people that have other skills apart from being on their job and just coming out to say, hey, I can organize. It's giving them the opportunity to meet with top management to be able to do the things and that way you start selling yourself, because somebody will ask, oh, there's something about you that is different. What else can you do? And then they'll keep bringing the things up.
In organizations, they might have something that is big and important to them. So maybe sometimes it's an event, sometimes it might be like a project that they are working and they need people from different departments to join, volunteer. Because you know what happens in those teams, you work with another senior person that is not your manager, and the person starts to see you in a different light because you don't know how they've painted you as well. So that also helps to showcase you. Okay?
Talked about having a role model, a mentor. Okay, there is someone in my department I like. From afar, I've been following her. She's very good, on top of her game, But me coming in fully into the company, I discover some things about her, a lifestyle that I don't like. And she's this kind of person, when she wants to take you, she takes you fully. She can go out of the work to talk about other things, which for me is not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with that because there's some things I don't like about her lifestyle. Now, but at the same time, she's the best in that department, and I want her to mentor me. I've not spoken with her. I've not spoken with her yet, but she knows that she's very tough. People see her. People say that she's wicked, but getting to know her, I discovered that she's not wicked. Just that she doesn't compromise, and that's the kind of person I like mentoring me. So I'm trying to see how can I make this woman my role model, at the same time not offend her when she wants to drift away, when it has to do, when it's not a job. Because I've only spoken with her once, and the time I got to talk with her, I discovered that she was trying to talk other things which I don't want to talk about. You understand? And at the same time, I don't want to offend her. So the thing is, with making me to withdraw, I'm confused.
You have mentors for different aspects of life. So you want a professional mentor. The person can be a Buddhist. Doesn't have to be a Christian. The person can be totally different from you. But you know what you want to learn from the person. And that is what you're focused on. Then I'll go back to some of the steps if you had mentioned earlier, which is being congruent, knowing your own values, and letting everybody know that these are your values, these are the things you stand for. So if you have projected your values, the mentor would also know that, okay, these are some of the things this person will not stand for. So for example, maybe you want her to be your professional mentor, but she probably, I don't know, maybe for lack of a better example, maybe she smokes Igbo. And you know you don't want to smoke Igbo. You talk to her about the professional things because she has seen your values. She knows that this kind of person will probably not, so she will not even drift to that aspect of things. And then because you own the mentoring relationship, you drive the things you want to discuss with her. So I don't see it as a problem. I think it's something you can handle, but you just have to be wise about it.
You can have mentors for different things. And then the question I would ask is, what is that thing about her lifestyle? If it's something that does not derail you from your Christian walk, for me, it's not a big deal.
She gossips.
Is that what's doing you? Exactly.
No, she's my boss. She wants to find out things about people.
You say you don't know.
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Every day you're going to work. See, Elijah was such an angry man. True or false?
True.
Elijah was such an angry man. He was cursing something and the children and
Yes.
who does that? But guess what? Elisha followed him. Elisha followed him so much that when he was about to be taken up, the remaining sons of the prophets were all laughing. You know, see your father is going, no. He followed him to the last minute and he got the double portion. We are so quick to celebrate how he got the double portion. We forget the work he might have put in. There are things you have to ignore. Every day as you're going to work, you say, Lord, I want to learn from this woman. You said you will give me the riches of the Gentiles, the riches in hidden places. There is richness here that I want to get, but I don't want to take the remaining. Put me and guide me. Give me the wisdom. When she asks you, she wants to know things, you say, I don't know. You know, ma, I don't know. I don't listen to office gossip. I don't know. Say, don't you hear them? Oh, ma, I really don't know. And then when you do the first time, you do it the second time, she won't ask you. And like Tolani said, you own the mentoring relationship. So many of us say, I have a mentor, I have a mentor. You don't go to glean from the mentor. You think the mentor will call you, come, yeah, Nengi, so I want to pour into you. So you know this is it. Are you high? People are busy. So it's you that will say, oh, maybe I want to be talking with her on my career, maybe every 2 months, every quarter, or every month. You know what you want to discuss with her. You know where you need her help. Okay? And then you get that out. Now, even in mentoring, because you want someone that will vouch for you, you want someone that will lay down, like Jonathan, you want someone that will lay down their life for you. You want someone that can stick out their head and say, take this girl. If she doesn't perform, my job is on the line. there are some elements of your personal life that needs to, there needs to be a, oh, I want to speak French. Melange. Like, so you need to be open about some other things as well. It's not a robotic relationship. But that's why I'm saying you should ask for wisdom about the one you share, because you know she likes to gossip. So you know the one that you this thing is packaging. So you know what you want to share. You know the brand you're trying to create, and that's what you share. Do you understand? So in everything, really, you ask for wisdom. If this is the right well to drink from, then every day I need wisdom to be able to, as I draw the water, let me draw just water. Any dirt should just go away. Yeah? Okay.
You are looking at it like, I want her to mentor me. It's also possible that God is bringing you her path. Exactly. You know, to be able to rub off. Because the truth is, when we spend time with God, what rubs us on us is glory. And that glory is supposed to be the next person. Do you understand? So, she's mentoring you, but you're taking out time to reach out to God on her behalf. There are certain things she sees in your life. If she wants to start a conversation that you are not interested in, she sits back and she thinks about it. And gradually, because you have come her path, those things begin to drop. So you should also see it. Okay, I want her to mentor me. Indirectly, you are also mentoring her.
Thank you. My question is about the promotion, and you said every organization and company needs results. I have a friend that works every week, like from Monday to Saturday, sometimes Sunday. She don't have time for herself. She works very hard. If she's not there, they'll be calling her. But at the end of the day, nothing is coming forth as in promoting her or adding anything to her. So in that situation, what will she do? Will she quit her job or what?
First of all, you can be doing different activities Monday to Saturday, but you don't have results. They are calling you, come and do this. Doesn't mean it's because you own that job. So she needs to check what is it that they expect of me, and then what are the results? Do I have those results? Then the next question, which is something that we've talked a lot here, do people know she's not working? Do they know those results? I think the right example to use is you sold yourself when you went for that interview. The interviews so like there are interviews happening in the workplace. It's just that it's not formal interviews as we know it to be. And so in those informal interviews, you're still expected to sell yourself, but she's not. So that's the second thing. The third thing might be, which is normal in most Nigerian organizations, she has a manager that doesn't want her to grow. And so she needs to go beyond that. And I wish she was here because we are going to pray. And the other things that also have to do. Yeah.
What kind of organization does she work in? Is there even room for growth in that organization? So if there's no room for growth, then as much as she's putting in her effort and delivering results, she also needs to be wise and look for other jobs. She also needs to know, is this like Ifeoma mentioned it very well, where I am now, is it something I love? Do I even want to grow here? Is it, do I have, does the company itself, does it have potential? So those are the things you need to consider. Before I started working for the company I worked with Ifeoma in, I worked for a smaller company. And immediately, even before I joined the company, I knew this was not my destination. I worked there for a few months and I prayed. And as I was working, I was delivering on all my deliverables. My managers liked me, but I knew this was not my destination. And I looked outside and I eventually got what I wanted. So it's possible there's no room for growth in the organization if it's a one-man business. Or there are some companies, they are structured companies, but somebody has to leave for somebody else to be promoted. So if there's no room for promotion, then she should look out. But as much as she's looking out, she also needs to, because we talked about loyalty and empathy. This is the company that is still paying her salary. So she still needs to be loyal and deliver the results. Being loyal to the company does not mean you don't think about yourself and you don't look out for what is good for you.
Some roles that you do, and it's not about the company, so there's room for growth in the company, but the role that you are doing, you cannot grow beyond that role. So give an example, you are the secretary or something. You can't grow beyond that role, for example. So does she need to get additional skills to move her into a different career path? Because as long as she stays there, no matter what she does, they might just be increasing her money small, but she will never grow. So that's another way to also look at it. What she's doing, is there room for growth? The company, is there room for growth? And me, while we say ignore the land and plow there, remember Joseph moved from the prison to the palace. So that you're ignoring the land, you know it is not, if it's, in some cases you know this is not where I want to be. But you still keep giving it your best because you know that from there you will be catapulted. It's not that you become comfortable and complacent. Because that's what happens to a lot of people. I've been trying, so I just give up. And here is what I know is my comfort zone. So you stay.
Now, I have a friend who happens to work in the head office, and he's like, you're always too quiet, and that's the problem I have with you. You're always quiet. And I keep asking myself, I don't have the urge or whatever in me to talk at that time. All I just feel in my spirit is to keep quiet. And so I want to ask, at what point do you keep quiet, and at what point do you talk? Because for me, these are the same people that are going to have to say one or two things about me and determine whether I get promoted or determine whatever happens. Yes, I know God is involved, but these are the people that see what I do every day. So I try as much as possible to deliver. But at what point do I keep quiet and just continue? And at what point do I actually talk?
Okay. Let me tell you my thoughts. I'm also Stolani as well, because it varies. Now, we are spirit-led people. And so I think what's really important is you need to know when the Spirit of God is telling you to speak and the Spirit of God is telling you not to speak. In many situations in our lives, especially when you've gone through a route where the Spirit of God pretty much tells you not to speak, sometimes when he even tells you to speak, you're so comfortable in not speaking that you too, you know, it's not like as if you were supposed to talk. So the first thing is you need to be able to discern the Spirit and what it tells you to do at that time. Now, if he tells you to keep quiet, I usually believe that then God is fighting the battle up front. If he tells you to speak, then you need to ask for wisdom as you speak. There's somewhere in Acts where the people told the people to go out and preach, and they said, what will we say? He said, don't worry, I'll fill your mouths. And when they went there, their mouths were filled and they just started talking. Now, I'll give you an example of something that happened. So when I was working, I was level 3 already. And I was doing that role. I told you that I had I had so much exposure. I had my regional managers. I had people up to high levels working with me or being aware of what I was doing. And in that same situation, they were looking for a fall guy. So I remember this meeting we had. And I was level 3. We were going to present to a level 6. And we were asking for a huge amount of money. And it was such a crazy request that I shouldn't have been in that meeting because I was too junior to be in that meeting. But because they wanted a situation where if they say, come, who is even handling this thing that is messing this thing up? They will say, see her here. Then I will have to fight my battles. That's why we got into that meeting. I understood, don't worry. So I knew. But I also told myself that I would be able to turn that negativity to a positivity to work for me. So we're preparing for the meeting. I was level 3. And we're putting together a presentation. Now it's my presentation. So I shared it with my manager. And there was a slide that needed the sales director's input. He was so busy, and so he told somebody else to do it. So we did it together. So we got into the meeting. Now, because he wasn't ready, this is you know those kind of meetings, you have pre-meeting before the pre-meeting. So we got into one of the pre-meetings. Because he wasn't ready, as they put up the numbers, he was like, no, I don't recognize these numbers, and the condition I work, if you put up numbers and it's wrong, like literally your career, nobody trusts you. So I was trying to explain to him that, you asked me to work with so, this is the numbers, I opened my sheet, he said, no, doesn't recognize these numbers, and I was angry. Now, my usual Nigerian informer will be like, swallow it, it's 2 levels ahead of you. You are in a meeting with your managers, you are the youngest, keep quiet. And so I swallowed it. But I was so upset that my manager came to meet me. My manager was at level 4. And he said, I've never seen you that upset before. What happened? So I started telling him. He said, go and have a discussion with him. I said, he's level 5, I'm level 3. what would I tell him? That you were wrong and I'm right? He said, no. Go and have a discussion with him and say, I really want to be able to work well for you. I want to be able to do the things that, make all of us here shine. In this situation, what would you have wanted me to do? What would you have preferred I do? Don't keep quiet. So don't keep quiet it can mean different things. It can mean at that point you keep quiet. But in your case, since they are looking for a fall guy, and I would suggest you have a discussion with him. So you go back, once it happens, don't go back to the past. It feels like as if you're revising. So once something happens, you say, see, we've been having this. I really want to be able to work well for you, not with you, okay? I want to be able to work well for you. What would you rather I would have done in this situation? I'm learning as well, and I see you as someone I can learn from. People like to be massaged. It's wisdom. And then he tells you that. And then at the end you say, and somewhere in there, you can also express, because when I was having that discussion with the guy, I asked him, I want to be able to work well for you. What do you want me to do? And he told me. I said, because in that meeting, I didn't like the fact that you said that my numbers were not correct. He said, no, I didn't mean it that way. Because I'm giving him the opportunity to also say his part first. So he now said, oh no, he didn't feel it that way, blah, blah, blah. So, as women, we are very emotional people. If you know that at that point that you are provoked, you are very emotional, please don't talk. Because you know that most likely you are going to start crying. That's the last thing you should ever do in your workplace. If you are so emotional, go into the bathroom, cry. I've done it before. Cry, go with your makeup bag. When you finish crying, you put everything back. And then you have a professional discussion with him. So that you're not always happy. Because the truth is that once you reduce those frictions, right, they won't always be putting you as the fall guy. In your career as you're growing, there will be situations like that too, but this is my own thinking in terms of the wisdom to maneuver it. And then ask for wisdom as you speak.